Can be. The Sheriff's Department says 2 teens last night around 9 were street racing here on Temple Street in La Puente when one of them lost control and hit a car on the other side of the road in an oncoming lane. Both of them are now hospitalized, one in critical condition, one in serious condition. The teenage driver is 18. The innocent victim is 32. Live in La Puente, Sonia Crawford, Today in LA.
Sonia, thank you. A Koreatown home goes up in flames, taking nearly
considering a crackdown on illegal street races. They've been a part of Southern California culture almost since there have been cars, but they're a deadly pastime.
In the past year, street races have killed at least 8 young people. But even the deadly risks aren't enough to deter racers and their fans. Noah Nelson has this report.
45 years ago, when James Dean hit the gas and kicked up dust in a movie called Rebel Without a Cause, a fiery bit of American culture was born. The image of a duel being fought with guts and speed was potent then, and to many people now, it still is. Throughout Southern California, illegal street racing has become a passion for thousands of drivers and the people who like to watch them take risks. But it's also an underground blood sport that over the years has taken the lives and health of hundreds of those who participate in it.
When you're talking about broken bones, when you're talking about ruptured spleens, when you're talking about death, you're talking about dismemberment. People die. This is something that's no joke. It's not a game. It may seem like fun on the face of it, but it's not. It's deadly. And we get a chance, unfortunately, to see the worst of it.
Just a few nights ago in La Puente, 2 cars crashed and caught fire when a street racer lost control of his car and slammed into an oncoming vehicle. Both he and the other driver were seriously injured. Witnesses say 2 street racers were dueling it out at 80 miles an hour on Temple Avenue when the cars slammed into each other.
It goes all the way down, all the way.
And you got a pin in your leg?
Yeah, I broke my back, I broke my femur bone, I got pins, I got a plate in here.
Stories about drivers cheating death are nothing new to racers like Donnie Hewitt, who says he has dueled on the street most of his life. You sound proud of the fact you got all these injuries.
No, I don't. It's over now. I'm proud that I healed.
But you still race.
I ain't gonna stop. That ain't stopping me. I can walk, I can race.
On a cool midweek evening in Northridge, supercharged race cars cruise and mingle with ordinary traffic. Their drivers on the prowl, looking for a challenge to hurl them down Tampa, Reseda, or another one of the valley's big wide streets.
You know, you get a big adrenaline rush because you're looking for the police and you're trying to race a guy, you're looking for other cars and everything. Yeah, afterwards you're kind of shaking a little bit.
And that's the thrill.
Yeah.
You got away with it one more time.
Yeah.
It is not hard these days to catch a rally in progress with 200 or 300 people in attendance, most of them betting on who has the fastest car and the most nerve. The police show up, but many times, as this LAPD surveillance video shows, they are too late to catch anyone.
We know for a fact that they are somewhat organized, and they do monitor our frequency. They have radios that monitor our frequency, and if they hear over the frequency that we are set up to curtail their activities, they'll move to another location.
Racing groups like the Brotherhood of Street Racers often meet in restaurant parking lots, like the Sizzler on Tampa Boulevard, to talk about cars, the cops, and why they race the way they do.
A lot of street racers can't afford to do anything but gas their car and have fun. They can't afford Laker tickets. They can't afford Clipper tickets. And what is there to do? If you like hot riding, you can't afford a NASCAR, $200,000 or $300,000 car, what is there to do but take the old Pop's old Chevy and hot rod it and go have fun?
I mean, if there's no track out there, people are going to resort to driving on the streets, so it's just that I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair to all the racers.
Big Willie Robinson, head of the Brotherhood, wants the city of LA to provide a place for racers to compete legally, but no one seems to want a raceway in their neighborhood.
When there's no raceway, than the public streets. That's it. And you can't tell them not to do it, because I mean, even when I was young, I had gasoline on my chest, and I mean, I'm a, you know, so now you just got thousands and thousands of street racers just, you know, running amok.
Some business people say the noise and activity in some parking lots drives customers away.
Customers don't have the inclination to come here when you have a parking lot full of kids that are half in their cars, half out. They're burning rubber. They're walking around with drinking beers and leaving trash in the parking lot. I don't think most middle-aged people would be inclined to stop here for dinner.
A lot of racing takes place in L.A. Councilman Hal Burnson's Valley District.
Okay, well, look,
He's pushing an ordinance that would impound cars up to 180 days and also make it illegal to even be a spectator at a race.
These automobiles are traveling 90, 100, and faster. And just imagine on a community, on a residential street where somebody's liable to step out, you know, or somebody's home there and they can't stop. So this is a deterrent. As I say, I don't expect it to completely eradicate it. The death penalty hasn't completely eradicated people from committing murders, and this isn't going to stop drag racing, but it is going to make it a little more difficult, and people will stop and think before they do it.
But the racers will tell you that none of this is about thought. It's about feeling, and the thrill of proving, just like James Dean did a long time ago, that you can always win, even crash, and walk away, just like in the movies.
Big problem for a long time, and of course, in that case, it's not like jumping out of an airplane. You can hurt a lot of other people if something goes wrong.
Exactly. Now, if they do pass this crackdown, which would allow the police to cite the spectators as well as impound the cars, they still have the problem with everybody dispersing, because you can't give tickets out when people take off. And,
yeah, it's a very difficult thing to police.
Very, very difficult. So we'll see what happens. It seems like the real solution is finding a safe place to do it. But then you get the problem of not in my backyard.
You got it.
That report, by the way, was by Noah Nelson. Nice job. Tomorrow on Life and Times Week.
Their wheels are fast and powerful. Their obsession fueled by a need for speed.
We like the rush when you're going real fast, hitting 13s on a quarter mile.
And bragging rights.
World fastest Honda Accord.
Sometimes they're driving for dollars.
Let's see the money.
What they do out on the streets by night and day is both illegal and dangerous. These trucks dragging on a public street with oncoming traffic. From the San Fernando Valley to East LA. From San Pedro to Ontario. The glories can be great, but any split-second mistakes at high speed can be deadly.
We've had some homicides in the last couple of years involved with racing out here illegally.
A dozen drivers or their passengers have been killed in the last 12 months in terrifying wrecks like this. A Mustang convertible carrying 3 nearly torn in half. Last month in La Puente, 2 drag racers were critically injured in a head-on collision.
They're going to do whatever it takes to win, and they're going to lose their life trying to do that.
That's what happened here in Chatsworth when a street rodder lost control and one of his 2 passengers was killed.
A lot of this drag racing, the illegal drag racing that's going on, takes place in my district. I would say probably the majority of it.
Hal Burnson, 3-term LA City Council member from the North San Fernando Valley, says he's had enough.
One of the problems is the fact that the spectators are part of the show.
So Burnson wants to toughen the law, making it easier for police to issue expensive tickets just for watching. They're already doing that in some places. In Ontario, police swoop down with plenty of plastic cups and buses. As for the cars, Burnson wants them impounded, possibly for months.
The vehicles themselves, which currently can be impounded for 30 days, would be impounded not necessarily for 6 months, but up to 180 days.
Yanking cars off the street and targeting spectators doesn't sit well with this crowd of custom car owners, cruisers, and racers who gather here in Northridge on Friday nights. They say towing and ticketing are not the answer.
Well, I already got a ticket for watching races, so I don't think it's right for just being there watching it.
A lot of money is invested in these cars, and it's just outrageous to think that you can just take somebody's lifeblood, not to mention years of hard work and classic cars off the street. I just don't understand it.
Well, that's one of the things that makes it a deterrent, because they don't want to lose the car.
Actually, it makes me really angry, because then what are we forced to do? We're all meeting up, we're trying to make it as safe as possible, you know, and impounding our cars, giving us tickets is not trying to solve things.
So, what is the solution?
You know, we want to go somewhere where we can go and do it right, you know, where it's regulated.
That's easier said than done.
To be honest with you, it's been a political soap opera.
Big Willie Robinson knows that better than anyone. For a short time, this legendary crusader for safer racing ran a drag strip at Terminal Island.
I'll tell you what, when Big Willie's track was open, it made a big difference.
But political and commercial interests in the harbor fought it, and the wheels stopped squealing there 5 years ago. Big Willie has battled ever since to open a new track.
Whenever I talk to the mayor and the powers that be, they say, Willie, don't give up. We're going to do it.
In the meantime, most racers just stick to the streets. For now, police try to put the brakes on this by breaking up crowds as they gather.
It's over!
At the first sign of the law, it's time to scatter.
Hi, how's it going? This happens every week.
Fatalities, injuries, and tougher laws are hard to take. But these car-crazed kids of a rush, man.
In the gritty world of illegal street racing.
No.
Well, get ready to enter the gritty world of illegal street racing.
The hell of a rush.
Ride shotgun with the people who say speed limits are for suckers. Watch as Unit 13 cameras catch this too fast for TV thrill sport on tape.
Their fix is speed, but we're not talking about drugs. Unit 13 hits the streets with those who can't help but put that pedal to the metal. You're there for illegal street racing. That's next.
What?
Tonight, Unit 13 puts the pedal to the metal, riding along with street racers searching for a 140-mile-an-hour adrenaline fix. In the past year alone, 8 teens died in the San Fernando and Antelope Valleys. Here's Peter Thorne with a controversial solution and a Unit 13 exclusive.
Fasten your seatbelts. You are about to witness a crime, about to jump into the gritty, wheel-spinning underbelly of California car culture. Illegal street racing, a crime as fresh as Generation.com.
Fulfill the need for speed.
And as old as the hot-rodding 50s.
The rules are, there ain't no rules. It's to the second bridge and back, and the one who makes it here first wins.
At the wheel nowadays, mostly men like Mike driving this car who think speed limits are for suckers and who love the deep-throated rumble of a high-powered engine. Tonight, our camera's riding shotgun with Mike on his way to a hastily arranged late-night drag race. The location, a secret. Out here, it's all about rubber, red lines, and running from the law. If the cops knew what was going on, they'd bust it up in a heartbeat. This time, no badges around, so Mike's ready to drop the pedal. It almost looks like any other extreme sport, except in this game, no matter who wins or loses, somebody could wind up dead. A competitor, a spectator, an innocent bystander, killed by a car out of control. It happens all too often.
All the passengers inside their vehicle quite often don't wear seatbelts because they want to turn around and look at everybody and wave at everybody.
For racers like Mike, who won, by the way, half the thrill is the danger. Spectators often gamble hundreds on who'll win.
The hell of a rush.
A rush for racers, a headache for cops who want the shadowy world of street racing shut down cold. But when we went to Mike's race and several others, drivers seemed more worried about winning than getting busted.
What these guys are about to do is a high-octane mix of fun, fear, and excitement. Excitement because for these drivers, this is an adrenaline rush like no other, and fear because what they're doing could be deadly and is most certainly illegal.
We have people getting killed, and anybody that's trying to move around throughout the city at night gets overwhelmed by these young kids that are driving reckless and crazy.
Deputy Jeff Green patrols Carson, hard hit by street racers. He's constantly breaking up races. New laws help cops control the problem, like curfews, arresting spectators, impounding cars. But it's no easy crime to stamp out. Deputy Green remembers well a recent street racing horror story seen here in this rare home video.
Two people in a 5-0 Mustang were racing each other, and this is a situation where one of the spectator cars, which lined the curb, decided to pull out and make a U-turn. He didn't know that the two Mustangs were racing. When he made a U-turn, he was going head-on into one of the vehicles. It swerved to avoid him.
Deputy Green says the swerving car plowed into a pole, then a tree. It was totaled. A passenger in the back seat died instantly. It's repeated tales of death that's got this man demanding Los Angeles city officials take action beyond passing new laws. William Robinson wants LA to give back to street racers something they had for almost 20 years, their own racetrack out on Terminal Island in San Pedro, shut down in 1995.
I've been involved in racing since I was 16.
Better known as Big Willie, Robinson is a street racing legend. This Vietnam vet founded the Brotherhood of Street Racers, using racing to help bring the races together. Big Willie says supervised racing on a track gives kids an alternative to gangs and drugs.
There's no way I can tell these young men and women to not do it on the streets, because there's no place to go right now.